How's it going, everybody? Welcome to History 152 and fall semester 2025. I think we're in. Yeah, welcome. Hope everyone's getting familiar with the course, kind of layout and the format. I know every class has a little bit different format. But this is how my Lamaku pages are going to look. Pretty much every lesson has sort of introduction, or every week has a different introduction, and then different lessons. Try to break them up so they're still a little manageable. Each lesson has lectures, readings, some interactive elements, and then there's a little accordion for the PowerPoints and PDFs of the lectures, which again, I think those will be handy later when we go into quizzes and study guides there. Please do look over the syllabus if you have any questions. Just scan it. There's a few things I kind of uploaded sort of an overview of the syllabus. Please take a look at that. There's a syllabus survey that kind of highlights the main points there that you should be familiar with about sort of expectations, guidelines to follow, what to do if you are late on an assignment, all that kind of stuff. And then this week we're just kind of introducing things. We're starting at circa 1500, which we'll talk about a lot for the next few weeks because we're kind of laying the landscape of world history at the moment. And something in world history, 1500 is typically sort of this transition point, as we'll see, because it's when these groups of Europeans start to move out of Europe and into interact with the world in a maritime over sea instead of over land. And so what the first sort of discussion talks about historical thinking, and we're going to talk about, this is a theme that's going to be throughout this semester, this idea of multi-causality, right? The things don't just happen, right? There's causes in history. A lot of history is a study of these causes and why things happen, and historians think about and look through evidence for these causes and compare contrast different causes and effects, what the ramifications of that. So kind of try to do that, introduce it with European expansion. Again, looking at the multi-causes of it. It didn't just happen overnight. There was political changes, economic changes, cultural changes, religious changes. All of these things are sort of pushing this moment that I guess we could really say shaped the contemporary world because European expansion really brought the globe, integrated the globe together from the East and the West in different groups. And I talk about that. And there were two different groups going two different ways, right? The Portuguese wanted to interact economically with the spice trade. I mean, and people knew about the Silk Road. That's nothing new. That goes back thousands of years. People in Europe were well aware where these trading empires were. They knew that there was a thing called India. They knew there was a thing called China. They knew that there was silk, and they knew there were spices, and they knew they could make money, and they wanted to get there. And new technologies of sailing, maritime technologies allowed the Portuguese to expand in the Indian Ocean. Then that's a process itself, what the lectures talk about, Vasco da Gama, and the primary source this week is one of them is a journal from Da Gama's journey, and they talk about their experience, kind of integrating with or encountering these people in India, and then another cause of expansion is competition, right? The Portuguese and the Spanish were competing, two different monarchical families living next to each other. So as Portuguese went east, Spain said, hey, we also want to take part in this. Let's go west. Columbus said, no problem, right? I've mapped it all out. Should be pretty easy. We'll just go west and run into the India. And he doesn't. He in his three crews actually land in Hispaniola. And the primary source there is Columbus's journal as well. So those are kind of the ideas and kind of main themes: historical thinking, multi-causality, and then putting that into practice with this moment of there. And then we'll see the effects of that will be expanded upon in the coming weeks. So that's kind of the main points. Some other things: introductions. Try to get those posted by today. Again, hopefully you've read the guidelines. That's a big thing you'll hear me say a lot. That it's a written element to write kind of your introduction, but also explain it. And again, I want people to be thinking about history around you. What is a place around you or a place that you know of that you know the history about and can explain in a little way? I mean, I think people forget, particularly in these world history courses, these huge, broad swaths of history. But really, I mean, there's everyone encounters history on a daily basis. And I'd like you to use, again, the important thing here is use one of your own pictures. Either go out and take one between now and 4 p.m. or use one that you already have and explain about it. I don't want just like take a picture off the internet and throw it up there. I want, this is part of this, going out and experiencing it. What do we have there? So do that by Wednesday today. And then the assignment for this week is the Padlet. So go east or west and decide, again, what are these causes that are put yourself in history. Why are you doing this? Why are you going east? Why are you going west? What's going on in Portugal? What's going on in Spain? And use the course materials. I don't want just some like random vagueness. We have lecture materials. We have interactive things. We have primary source materials. I want, so make sure, and you'll hear this a lot this semester, reference the course materials, right? So, I mean, that shows me that you're engaging with the material by aiming to integrate it into your responses. So do that. So that's kind of the main points. And then the other two things I want to sort of talk about, and you'll see this in the, I believe it's the student resources section where this midweek check-in is. First one is one I want to talk about student announcements. If you open that, there's a bunch of there's a link to the KAO Weekly, EO Weekly, and then there's some flyers that I found that I thought are interesting, student opportunities. The other one, please open up, is this KAO framework, and that's something that we're really trying to push here. Not push. What's a good word for it? Really trying to sort of integrate into our courses at Hawaii Community College. All right, and it's kind of a different way to think about school in general. That instead of thinking about like a semester of school, like it's just something I just got to do, I got to get through it, right? Think about it as a story, a kao, right? That this semester is one chapter in the story of your time at Hawaii Community College, which is a chapter in the story of what you want to achieve in life, right? We're all here for a reason. That's sort of the point of the hua, right? That's sort of beginning the egg of the kernel of the egg, the motivation for the story. So what is it? What are you? So it's really kind of what I want people to think about a little bit or integrate is, what is it? Why are you here? Why are you at Hawaii Community College? What are you doing in this class? Even if it's like just getting an elective out of the way. Okay, great. All right. Well, what that's a step in the path that you want to achieve. So and you can run this through every class. What is it that you can get out of this? Ha'alele, what have you prepared for? What this sort of departure? Where are we getting? What do we need to succeed in this class at Hawaii Community College in your path that you want to go to in general, right? And then we're about to embark on the huaka'i, the journey for 16 weeks. We're going to be in this course, and you can choose how that journey goes, right? Do you want smooth sailing, get things done when they can, right? Every journey, there's going to be some rocky points. How are you going to navigate those challenges in this class and other classes outside of school, right? This 16 weeks, a lot's going to go on between now and December. So it's up to you to kind of figure out how to navigate those waters and go on that journey. And then the huina, the coming back, right? The landing, and then what is it that you want to get out of this, and then the highness, sort of the proclamation. What can you take from this class or this semester and move forward with it? So it's kind of a little more holistic way to think about college. That it's not just something we have to do, but it's something that's making us who we are. So I kind of like it. We'll come back to this as well, but kind of be thinking, one thing to be thinking about already is, what is your hua? Why are you here? What do you want to achieve in the next 16 weeks? Both in this class as a world historian and also as a member of the community college. Great. I think that's it. Have a good rest of your week.